Okay, so we're already a minute in, so I'm sorry that you guys missed the highly important, highly exciting Dark Age that we have here. But we have a game with Scotty, and I am curious if Scotty knows her about the strength of the Dravidians. Okay, there's been a lot of conversation about the new civilizations, and the consensus is pretty much agreed upon that the devs decided to slap 25,000 bonuses on 2 civs, and then the poor Bengalis and the Dravidians have kind of been forgotten. However, I think the Dravidians are fairly balanced. I would like to see some slight tweaks to them, which I think I will talk about throughout this game. But I think the devs did a good job with the Dravidians. I think they did the best job with the Dravidians, believe it or not. Dravidians feel very much like the Japanese to me. Cheaper barrack technologies, receiving plus 200 wood when they arrive to each age. Also with faster firing skirmishers and really good archers. So, you know, I kind of compare that to Japanese. Man-at-arm, good archers. And then Japanese later on struggle because they lack some stable units. Stark is playing as the Bohemians, which I guess is also a somewhat recent civilization. Cheaper blacksmith for the Bohemians, and then they get all their mining upgrades for free in each age. Bohemians on an open lands map definitely seem to be an all-in archer civilization. And that could be a little tricky if you're up against the Dravidians that have the faster firing skirms. And guys, the Dravidians are no joke with those skirmishers, okay? So if you have an archer civ and you're up against Dravidians, get ready to make something else. I actually played this exact civ matchup 2 weeks ago, and I just went for like 60 skirms. Because both of these civilizations really struggle with stable units. And it was a wild one. So someone says that's too balanced and it relies on players' skill. We need the Hindustanis because we lack skill. Well, hey, I think the Civ's got some weaknesses here or there, but I think overall Dravidians are decent. They're just not, you know, blow your socks off, pay to win, as people make jokes about some of the other civilizations. So, map-wise, we've got the gold near the back, which is always good if you get the mining upgrades for free. Berries are on the front here. I would definitely prefer Stark's map, as it seems a little less awkward in locating and protecting his resources. Like, if this woodline wasn't here, it'd be different. But being able to build up towards the woodline to protect the berries, and then having the gold on the back feels pretty nice. I guess you could make arguments that Scotty could always build up around this gold, but and also build up on this hill, but things seem a little bit more exposed for him. Scotty, I know quite well. I don't know how many of you know these players, so I'm going to talk about them. He's a USA player, and I got to know him a lot more over the last year or two, and he's a solid player. He's top 100. You know, unfortunately, is like kind of where I'm at. We're like still losing, like maybe first or second round in some events. Also know he's like very busy with life and work and such. So I think he's a guy who's competitive and doesn't necessarily want to up his level and get into events. But he loves the game, and he loves the ladder, and he plays a lot here. And he and I have had a lot of conversations on gameplay and meta and things of that nature. So he's actually getting attacked by Stark here. And he's going to let that palisade wall go down, and he could actually attack that scout. He got Loom. You could tell Stark doesn't want to attack. Stark shouldn't lose HP there. But I think Stark's just trying to be annoying, and we have what looks to be similar build orders for both players here. As Scotty's going to see the gold, Scotty will probably look for the barracks. Nice play from Stark, though. He's going to take some deer. I think that could be a nice little food boost for him. The issue for Stark will be wood. Normally, you want to have more on wood, so you can afford that archer range. And what I like about the Dravidians is, like, 4 on wood is completely fine right now. Actually, don't go for a second lumber camp. So I actually tested the build with the Dravidians. It's 20 population. And see, like, Scotty's playing that's like any other civilization. He's going to have so much wood, which isn't necessarily bad, but there he drops off the golds. And now I'm confused. Wait, what? Oh, is he going to go forward? Interesting. So check this out. So Scotty, he dropped off the gold. He has 40 gold in there so he can get man-at-arms. I think he wants to go forward and go for skirms. But Stark is going to make a 4th militia, which is a bit anti-meta. It's still, this bot is cracking me up, man. Also, is like, I don't know. Like, I'm actually completely fine with that getting banned. So, I don't know if my mods are enjoying it too much or if they're just not around at the moment. Oh, man, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Okay, so Stark is going to notice the villagers are here. But he's being hit on this side, so he can't really do anything about those vills. Scotty made a beeline for the villagers that actually built a mill here. And boink, Scotty's going to get the vill pick. But now Scotty has to run. There's 4 men-at-arms for Stark. Stark's going to see this and immediately decides to wall in the range because he doesn't want skirmishers to come out of here. But more than anything, you're going to need to have archers, I think, because of the existence of the man-at-arms. So Scotty needs to run. And this is an awkward moment for him. Also an awkward moment for Stark, because Stark doesn't have an archer range yet. Like I said before, he didn't really have the wood. So we could have the archer pop out. Scotty's still trying to run around. Or not run around. And, also, wait, what? Why'd the Jag stop attacking? Okay, the Jag's attacking now. The archer pops out. Oh, no way. Now the archer's attacking the villager. But we'll see if the villager ends up going down. Meanwhile, these 2 villagers are still chasing. The man-at-arms take a fight. It's actually not an awful fight for Scotty, who wants the vill. It doesn't get the vill. And now that archer range is walled in and that skirmisher in there is useless. The eco KD is 1-0. The overall KD is 4-1, though. And I'm sure it was messy. And Stark also had some big problems with the villager production throughout all of that. As he actually is going to get housed here as well. So, like, the craziness has slowed him down massively with some of the things he needs to do. But now Scotty's going to need a defensive archer range before the man-at-arms arrive. No, Evelyn is not secretly my girlfriend, but I know it's, like, kind of a funny bot, but it's kind of getting annoying, so if my mods are there, they can get rid of it, but I'm not going to it's not important enough for me to do it myself. Let's put it that way. So, forward buildings, guys. Not so good. And not sure what Scotty... I guess Scotty thought that was walled, but now Scotty's just under all this pressure. And the thing is, Scotty won't know that his opponent has idled his TC as much as he has. Scotty won't know that he has a 5-villager lead. Gets the house wall down there. Oh, man, he's been really delayed with some of these walls, but he's going to get them. And also, I heard something was being attacked by an animal. Oh, that was Stark being attacked by an animal. Scotty's getting an archer out. Scotty should fight that off with villagers, maybe. But here, he's still trying to complete the blacksmith and micro. God, this is so messy. It's so messy. I love it. Stark trying to micro here. Now runs into the TC with everything. I swear there must be, like, lag right now for these two. I mean, some games lose structure, right? Like, you know, like, okay, man-at-arm, 1 range, walls, upgrades, go to Castle Age. This game has kind of lost that. And I don't know what server they're playing on, but I imagine they could have a decent amount of ping. This is funny. Scotty's going to attack this wall to try and free up his archer range so he can use it. But, okay, so fletching's on the way for Scotty, who has a 6-villager lead, but also part of that is because there was, I can't speak, sorry, wheelbarrow was researched by Stark. Stark is going to use the market. He's going to buy resources to try and go all in here, probably feeling like he's behind. And now Scotty's running forward with a new army. There's no army for Stark. He has just stopped making army, and he's going to rely solely on walls. And that might actually end up working. Now, if he's got a hole anywhere, he'll have some big problems. But if there's one thing that Stark is known for, it is walling. And, yeah, Stark will click up soon. See, Scotty's expecting there to be army. Scotty's like, yeah, this guy's going to have army, and I'm going to counter it with my Dravidian skirmishers because my skirmishers fire so fast. And now Stark is going to have more skirmishers against him. It's funny, this skirmisher actually cannot come out. It's stuck in the range. You can't re-garrison units. Yeah, Stark will make it to Castle Age. I just don't know what his plan is. Unless maybe he wants to go for knights. Could have army running through here. Scotty's now going to go forward with a tower. Let's go. He definitely knows that his opponent's up to castle. Because he sees the market and there's no army at all from Stark. So he must be worried about this. But I guess he had to actually delete the range here so he could get his army out. I mean, this is all something. But it's also a nasty amount of skirmishers. So they fire faster, sure, but they still would die to knights. Don't tell me Stark's just going to add a town center, man. This is such a funny game. So Stark has he has an account called Wall and Boom. And then he had another account called, like, No Wall, Full Balls or something. I forget what it was called. Funnily enough, he would always wall on the No Wall account. He's just a slower player. He's always been known to play more strategically instead of, you know, use speed and more defensive. But I like the tower from Scotty. The issue, I'd say, for Scotty is mainly his eco. And now we're going to have a town center from Stark, not Dark. And honestly, I like the decision from Stark as well, I guess, because it'll actually shoot the tower down. And, I mean, his eco's a mess, but that tower will actually be gone in a second. I don't know where this guy's going to take wood as the skirmishers hop inside the tower. But we still don't have siege for Stark, who's probably just going to use the market. Probably just going to buy and then sell resources so he can somehow get a mangonel out. Scotty's eco is so much better now, right? But he's behind in age, and he could lose everything that he has forward. There's the market. Stark still can't afford the mangonel, and then you have the tower up for Scotty. Scotty's going to wall that in. Still has a ranged army here, and still has an archer over here, picking away at Vils. And now you've got a mangonel for Stark. I would have personally liked to see Stark just open with knights. But Stark is more of a boomer, and Stark might think that if he can get a villager lead, then he can dominate this game. He might feel like the Dravidians are much worse in the long run. And maybe they are. I don't know. I don't think Dravidians have been out enough to really confirm that. I think they're actually a nice matchup against the Bohemians. Stark with more houses. Could lose villagers, but hasn't lost many in this game. Still plenty of weak ones. Again, you've got an archer here. You've got archers here. You've got archer here. You've now got villagers on stone over here. Scotty's going to go for knights. But he doesn't get knights. Oh, no. I don't know how many times Scotty has played with this Civ, but the Civ does not get knights. He might think the stable units suck, but I still get knights. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Yes.
Okay, that was 100% a tech tree pause. That was okay. So we're behind live time, but that's a tech tree pause. Scotty paused to see what he could do. I'm ready. Let me know when. Back. Thank you for the wait. You around? No problem. Yes. Okay, so they took a break. We skipped past that. Well, you could go for guard tower, honestly. But you're behind in villagers now if you're Scotty. And he's probably like, well, my stable's useless if I don't make a knight. I mean, I'm okay with one elephant if your opponent only has siege, but normally your opponent's going to have monks. So he's going to go for his own siege. He's definitely a bit, as I like to say, scatterbrained. Maybe moving too fast for his own good right now. And he's going to add a siege workshop to go for a siege push. The Stark just drops TC number 3. Guy just makes it look easy. There's a TC for Scotty, who says, why would I ever make an elephant? That's too expensive and too clunky and too slow. And now here comes Scotty with the faster firing skirmishers, but he's going to get rocked in the face. And he actually ran right back into it. And he must feel like there's siege everywhere. And there really is. There's siege hiding here. There's siege hiding here. And now Stark's going to have some siege over here because you can see the siege from Scotty. And now we have monks for Stark. And I think Stark has a lead in this game. 3 town centers. Don't know how the guy does it, but he does it. And I think he'll even go monk defense against any siege push that might come in. And now you've got elephants. Now, if you've got knights, you can get in and get out real quick, even with no upgrades. But elephants are more expensive, and elephants are very slow. And Scotty's going to try and drop a castle, guys. Where's he going to drop that, though? Okay, so he sees there's mangonels there. He sees there's a TC here. I think he might drop it here. Because if I were Stark, I would direct all my attention to defending a siege push on the left. I don't like the amount of villagers. I would like to see at least 5 more villagers there. 10 villagers minimum is what I say. I guess he's got 8. And there goes the castle. Oh, man, this is funny. Look at Stark. He's chasing this down. There's the castle. Here come the elephants, too. So they could go for any siege. Now the monks kind of have to go to the right to convert the elephants. But they just converted the siege on this side, which was the correct play, obviously. And the elephants are looking for the siege, and let's go! We got the chonkers! Bam! I think the castle goes up. It's at 60% now. What a messy game. This is wild. Yeah, castle will go up, which means that it won't be a 3-town center economy anymore for Stark. Scotty doesn't really have strong military, though. But I guess neither does Stark at the moment. Villagers for the picking over here. That tower will go down very quickly. Scotty needs to delete that, and he does, so he doesn't donate it to the enemy. And now he's going for a siege elephant. But no, you don't want an armored elephant here. Armored elephants can be converted, but you have to walk up next to it like you would a ram. Let's see if it's created before the siege workshop's converted. The skirms actually can kill the monk. Armored elephant, let's go! Let's go, the siege workshop survives. Get wrecked, fool, that's my mangonel. Boom. Okay, worth it. Seriously, is probably worth it. God, Scotty has no clue what to make right now. He seriously has no clue. He's gonna go take this stone now. He's dropping a castle over here. Oh, and Stark doesn't see it. That's so risky, Scotty. Oh my God, now will Stark head that direction in time? Don't kill your own monk, Stark. Okay, so he's gonna convert the workshop. That gets deleted now. There's also archers over here. The siege is no longer over here. This TC is going to get taken out. Oh, this castle's so huge. This is amazing, man. This is amazing. I can't believe he's actually completing this. Stark is going to be so annoyed with himself. Very rarely do you see players play this YOLO. But the map control is awesome. So now you need to either buy your own castle, drop it, and go imp, or you need to try and ram that down, which is not going to be so easy. And look at what Scotty controls. Scotty controls this gold. He controls this gold. Well, for now anyways. He really needs to get guard tower, I think. He's very well aware that he's got lots of control here as well. Weak scout will get taken out there. Skirmishers here are going to die as they attack a house. Scotty clicked guard tower. He accidentally clicked ballistics. I think that's just, you know, something he's used to clicking. But I'll tell you what Stark needs to do. Complete the TC, rush the tower down with Vils. Don't even attack it with siege. It's only one tower. Just rush it down with Vils. He's not going to do that, which could be a problem. Rush it down with Vils. Oh, well, wait. The elephants are on the way. I think he's going to rush it down with Vils now, because it's only one standalone tower. The Scotty, where are you going, man? There's so many leftover siege. There's so much leftover siege from Stark. And now Stark's imping. Okay, the elephants can go in for the siege, though, which means his tower could actually complete, because the monks aren't over here yet. You can tell the monks are going to be on the way. Also, what's that? Oh, that's the dead armored elephant from earlier. Okay. All Scotty wants to do is... Okay, now you attack it. Okay, that makes sense. All Scotty wants to do is complete this tower. And now he's going to drop another tower. But, like, Stark is going to be imp, but Stark won't be able to make trebuchets because Stark doesn't have the stone for that. Okay, this tower is going to go down. The tower could also shoot the monks and the siege here. So that the towers are working. But these towers aren't really in range of each other, so it's still really awkward. At home, we see a town center in Narnia for Scotty. Okay, just more and more eco. He's like, map control eco, map control eco. I would love to see him repair this one. The elephants might take out the villagers, but if you could just pull a couple to repair, that'd be so nice. Also, maybe use this tower. Oh, it's so awkward. Okay, so that tower gets battered down. So this brings you back to my point earlier. Like, that would have been the immediate choice for me. Still no imp for Scotty. And did Stark get chemistry yet, guys? Anyone notice? I don't think he did. I think he forgot he can research chemistry in Castle Age with the Bohemians. Because getting chemistry so you could go for bombard cannons would be awesome. He's adding the ranges now, so he's planning on doing something out of the archery ranges. Scotty's just going to stay in Castle Age and add skirms. So, towers, siege, skirms, and eco for Scotty, who probably will just stay there until it feels right to go imp. And now chemistry is coming in for Stark, but he's also... Excuse me, that was a very loud burp. I hope we didn't hear that. But, like, having to wait now for chemistry is definitely a little bit of wasted time, and it's allowing Scotty to continue to control the map a little bit more. And you do get light cav with this civ, so he's thinking light cav skirm, which is actually quite good, right? Light cav against monks, skirm against any range units that might come out. I don't mind it. But I think you might as well click up to the Imperial Age first if you're Scotty, as he adds another tower now. He really just wants to keep his opponent off the golds. And even wood at this point. Like, Stark is completely surrounded. Look, he's starting to lose wood now to skirms. And the tower will actually complete here. So it's still just an area that Stark can't control. But he is going to make bombard cannons. And bombard cannons should free up one of the areas. Whether that be here or elsewhere, I'm not too sure. Ballistics is in for Scotty as he goes for these old men. And the old men can hop right inside the TC. So Stark's actually converting skirms because he has enough monks to do that. Armored elephants now for Scotty. I gotta check. Where is it? Okay, it's out of this siege workshop. And he's getting armor now. And he's adding more stables to go for more light cav. And he also ran back here with skirmishers and elephants. He's got a 20 villager lead. He has Stark completely surrounded, but Stark definitely has the tools to take care of this. Scotty, delete the elephants. Oh no, now his skirms are going to get pushed back by his own elephants. And now the castle on the left is surely going to start to go down. Big thing Stark can't take right now is, well, gold and stone, which is actually incredible because that's the Bohemian bonus. You get the mining upgrades for free. I don't know. Do you want to donate siege to your opponent? You know he has redemption. I think he's going to wait a little bit. And you see he's still massing the light cav. I would love to see him just send in the light cav to the left first. Goes in with skirms. Trying to take any monks, I think. But the monks are... The one monk is in the town center anyways. Now here comes the siege elephants. They're just going to go right down to the siege. But I guess the TC is going to go down as well, so that's kind of nice. There's just a lot of awkwardness right now for Stark because of everything that's being thrown at him. But hey, there he goes, dropping a new TC. Meanwhile, we have Scotty. He's losing this castle. He's going to drop another castle. He's also super housed. He's going to fix that now. He's getting armor for 5 light cav. He's got such a little force, but you could say the same for Stark. And Stark... Stark could take this out, but now the light cav are on the way. I think Scotty realizes this, and now you can see Stark expects this, because Stark now is running back, and he's clicked pikemen. So this is an interesting game, and all these villagers could go down as well. I'd be happy with the villager kills, personally. Light cav are now looping onto the right. They don't get very good light cav, but it's still a solid unit to try here, I guess. Especially up against siege and monks. Still losing control, but being desperate and adding more towers. And this castle will complete for Scotty, who is 26 light cav. So now the units are really going to start flying. But Stark has resources to make pikemen. How, guys, Stark's ability to just be completely surrounded and still survive in games is just, it's insane. I mean, it hasn't been the perfect game from either player, but it still astounds me. And I have placed against the guy enough times to know that it's wild. And almost makes you feel like he's cheating at times. Like, how on earth is it even possible? I think ultimately, like, what unit you want in the long term in this matchup, like I mentioned earlier, is going to be the skirms. And you see the light cav taking engagement here. They need to continue to disengage. But, like, now you see your opponents on Arbalest. You've got to think skirms again if you're Scotty. I think he really is overextended on the right side. He's placing one too many towers. Any other Civ, maybe you take out a bombard cannon or two. But that's a big waste of stone. And he's got no defensive castles then, right? It's all forward, all offense. But this is what offense can bring you. And now Stark has to abandon the woodline. Scotty's like, bad boy, stay at home. And that's an expensive loss. Both with the villagers, but also on the bombard cannons. Scotty really is to put his units on attack stance when he takes these fights. He's doing stand ground, which is a common thing that people do so they don't so they can hit the right targets. But one too many instances where he's on stand ground when there's units around that he could kill. He doesn't have an outpost on the left side right now, so he cannot see that his opponent is taking this gold, but he is sending more light cav over that way. And Stark has to build up to take care of one of these castles. Now that's got to be his play. He has Arbalest. He's still booming. And he doesn't really have the food to mix in pikemen, but even just Arbalest should be okay against Dravidian Light Cav. Now here come the Light Cav we talked about. They find the gold now. And so that should lead to a lot of kills. And what a game, guys. This is such a fun game. I think Scotty can take it because of all of his crazy map control, but Stark is not one to give up. Why isn't Scotty doing infantry? Oh, it would be really bad. It's slow, your opponent has archers, and your opponent has hand cannons available. I think the way he's playing it is with his unit type is really good. I think you can use infantry to go for the kill in some situations, but he's probably going to wait for that. He's doing a lot of damage, holding a lot of map control. Light Cav costs 0 gold, so he's getting damage with a unit that's essentially trash. But Stark's not giving up yet. Stark now takes the wood in the north. Also, committing to your roomy swordsman when you have forward castles is a terrifying decision, I think, because if you end up losing your castles to those cannons, then suddenly you've committed towards a unit you can't make anymore. Champion, however, would eventually be good. But you have no reason to go for that if your opponent doesn't even get a pikeman, right? Like, I was expecting Stark to get pikeman, but he doesn't have food. Credit to Scotty, man. It's just surrounded the guy. I don't know if I've seen a player get surrounded like this. And now look at Stark. Just scrambles up this castle as he runs away with his Arbalest. Sadly, the guy's missing some armor upgrades and is actually late on Bracer, which I think he knows because he's trying to avoid taking the fight. Now another group of Light Cav looking to go in. And now you might see it, guys. Woot Steel. Woot Steel. So we might, after that technology, see a couple barracks start to go up. He's at 200 pop, so we can definitely start to think about sinking resources into other upgrades, into other units. I guess that separates 2K Elo and me. Play to the game situation instead of the Civ strength. Yeah, it's a bit, it has to, they both have to match, right? But I agree that it is something that you can consider. I just don't think you consider it too much when you've got someone backed into a corner here. He's swinging sides back and forth. He needs mobile options. And now Stark is trying finally to take out one of these castles, but he just can't do it. I think I think it'll take a couple more months for people to realize how good Dravidians can be on Arabia. If an early imp... Like, I honestly feel like playing into Light Cav raids with your own skirms is good. It forces your opponent to try and go for, like, siege, or it might have to go pikeman, and then you just switch right into champion. It's really strong. Again, it's on par with Japanese, I would say. This is wild. I think Stark's dead. As much as I'd love to, like, look at Stark's vill count and say he's got a chance, look where his villagers are. He went from having no villagers on wood to like everything on wood. But technically speaking, he just needs wood and gold to make the cannons. Light cav are melting. I think Scotty's starting to think, oh, what do I do? And again, you don't want to go into champions against a lot of arbs. And skirmishers also die to the cannons. I take back what I said a moment ago. I think Stark could actually still bring this back. The light cav rage should still continue for Scotty, but he's got to be thinking, what more can I do? Light cav get in. Scotty will lose a Treb, though. Still will take out a TC. Also over here, he's using ranged units to take out a cannon. He'll get it. He might even get both, actually. Stark has to go for repairs. Oh, what a big pickoff. Still has a stone to sink into repairing this castle. This TC will get trebbed down. If the Civ had Bombard Cannon, the game would be over. They have crappy stable units. They have faster firing skirmishers. But Arbalest Bombard Cannon is still a really terrifying thing for the Civ to face up against. Here he goes with the light cav. He's done a much better job with the stances on his light cav ever since I think he realized how many mistakes he's made. Oh, and can he take the castle? Can he take the castle? Stark's hitting the only Treb that's remaining. He's about to run out of stone. Stark's still alive, guys. And the light cav continue to dive. They're taking such inefficient trades, but is still against gold units when he's got the better eco. The skirms come in from the other side. Honestly, just go for the Arbalest. I mean, you could also, I would say also take the Bombard Cannons if you can. Either way, you're trading against gold units. Okay, so he got one of them. He's got more units in queue. Mixing in his own arbs is also not bad. 63 on food for the American. Has how many stables now? 11 stables. You know what unit I prefer to see Scotty make instead of making champion? If you watched me play that game after Lowy the Legends yesterday, which was a 2-hour 2v2 game. Oh no, I was playing with the Bengalis then. Shoot. I still think they could be good for the Dravidians, but I had to check their tech tree. But Elephant Archers. It's a tanky unit. So it tanks arrow fire. And it would be very good against enemy archers. But I now don't remember if the Dravidians have a ton of unique bonuses for their Elephant Archers. Now, Yurumi are very good at melee engagements, but they're not good against range units either. I think that would be a waste of gold. So this seems to be a theme for Stark, where like he'll gain one side and then he'll start to lose the other. But this castle is like 30 kills. It's doing a good job at keeping this corner alive. Scotty's making more skirms. He's making more light cav, and Stark's still somehow alive here. Faster fire. Oh, so they fire faster and they regen. Yeah, I think Elephant Archers is the play, especially since you have the ranges and you have the food for light cav. So I did it with Bengalis last night, and it was a ridiculous game. My teammate died, guys. Like, my teammate lost his entire base, and we were all, like, 2K plus players, and we ended up bringing it back with the Bengali trade and also the Elephant Archers. Scotty is I think, getting worried right now. I mean, he's still all over Stark, don't get me wrong, but he must be concerned about this death ball. This is what Bohemians are good at. Continues to show himself, and he splits. He just wants the Bombard Cannons. If he can get these, this might be the end of it. Scotty runs up the hill. He says, screw your technologies. I will take your cannons. Oh, that was lovely. And that might be the final nail in the coffin, because skirms can deal with everything else. Here comes that production. The next wave of light cavs there too. The Treb's the only thing that needs to be taken out now, and you've got to think he's got enough light cav on the field to take it. He's not doing so at the moment, likely because he's dealing with his production and making sure he's got that going. I also love the keeps look so cool for the Dravidians. Let's go. And even more keeps over here. He's like, dude, get out of my game. Resign. Stark's a fighter. I'm glad he was a fighter because a lot of people would have resigned earlier, but this is a quality game. Every game that I've covered today has just been top-notch. Stark could never really counterattack, as Arbase mentioned in the chat. And he had to eventually get himself out of this hole, which he's just not able to do. And he isn't producing anything anymore except villagers. The skirms are insane. I probably won't cast it. I don't know if it'll ever hit the T90 Extras YouTube channel because I'll be uploading a lot of gameplay there. But I did have a game with the Dravidian skirms that kind of opened my eyes to their strengths. And I think that we're still going to see more and more of that as the civilization continues to be discovered, I guess, as people toy around with the civilization. But man, look at that domination from Scotty. Saw virtually the whole map. Funnily enough, only had 3 relics with all this map control. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen the civilization that gets the mining upgrades for free lose access to all their mining. Like, lost access to the gold and lost access to the stone. And then when he would get access to that, he would lose access to wood. And then when he would get his wood, he would lose access to the stone and the gold. I think the tricky thing about the Dravidians is a civilization that just had better light cap probably would have won that game faster. That's kind of the sad thing about it. But we did see some aspects of the civ strengths utilized here from Scotty. At least he researched the unique tech that, Woot Steel, which maybe he thought it gave wait. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't the light cav ignore armor as well? I was about to say that it only applies to infantry. I think I'm wrong on that. Infantry and cavalry. Okay, so he did get that tech. So I guess that was a relevant technology. Sorry, forgive me. I'm still learning the civ as well. If he really wanted to, at this stage, I think, he could have gone for the siege elephants to really finish it off. Or he could have mixed in elephant archers, which I think would have been really tough to kill. But he didn't want to invest too much gold into it when he was already having success with no gold units. And while the KD was there for Stark, Scotty had 91,000 resources collected. More wood, more food. Didn't have more gold. Explain that one to me. But he had 6,000 stone. Somebody here asking me, do I think the Dravidians are underrated? Yes and no. I think because the Dravidians are new, and, I think a lot of people are like, especially because they came out in the same expansion as the Hindustanis and the Gurjaras, I think people feel as though Dravidians are a bit weaker than they really are. I put Dravidians on par with Japanese for Arabia. And on water maps too. Like, Dravidians and Japanese feel very similar to me in how they play out competitively. They both have weaker stable units. They both lack siege options, like no bomber cannon. And they both tend to be a lot of infantry archer. So I just think Dravidians have gotten a little bit overshadowed simply because the devs released 2 of like the most insane civs we've had with the new expansion. And they're going to have to nerf those civs down. But yeah, this game was probably less about the Dravidians and more about surrounding the opponent and making it messy. And I mean, from getting his archer range walled in to towers all over the map to crazy castle drops, you just don't see that every day at a high level. So probably it was just like the perfect clash of styles. Scotty likes openness and aggression, and Stark played super defensive and likes to invite the pressure. So GG.